Welcome to the Melbourne Content Studio, where I interviewed amazing business owners about all things business. Let's dive in. If you want to sell your business, then this video is for you. I've got Jaime here. Jaime, you're probably the best person to introduce yourself. So what's your elevator pitch?
Well, I help business owners who are thinking about selling in 1 to 2 years prepare their business so they can get the best sale price.
What are the red flags that you come across in a business?
Oh, I mean, there's quite a few red flags. First thing that people are going to look at when they look at a business is they're going to go straight down to the profit, and they're going to see what is happening with that. A lot of business owners, they run their businesses so there is no profit.
Yeah, just for the tax reasons?
For tax reasons.
Which is not good, is it?
Well, it's okay, but if you're thinking about selling, you want to stop using your business as an ATM, which a lot of business owners do, and really clean up your financials. Right. So when you go to sell, you have at least 2 years of really clean finances. Yep. Yes, you'll be paying some tax, but for a majority of business sales, the valuation is a multiplier on your profit. So if you're not showing profit, then
it's not a good asset.
Well, at first glance, it's not an asset. Yeah. There are things called add backs, which allow you to add things back in, but accountants start arguing with each other.
When you're trying to sell your business, it's probably good to take a year or two to prepare it and make it look nice.
It depends on what's going on in your business. So taking a step back from even getting to the point of selling. So you have a business, and the business, it only really has 5 things that are going to happen for you, right? Yeah. So one of them is that you're going to sell the business.
Yeah.
That's an inevitability. Or you're going to exit and you're still going to own it, but someone else is going to run it, right? Those 2 things require planning and time. The next one is that you end up giving it away. So you might give it to your children, although a lot of people don't even give it to their children. Right. They sell it.
I don't know if I want to give it to my children. They won't want it.
Yeah, well, that's the big thing now is like there's some great businesses out there and the kids don't want it. They're forging their own paths. They don't want these amazing businesses that have been going for 40 years. Yeah. You give it away, or you shut it down, it shuts down. Unfortunately, there's a lot of people, great businesses that just go, I'm just going to shut it because I'm retiring. And then the last thing is that you die.
Yeah.
Right? So there's like 5 ways out of a business, and 2 of them you control, really.
Yeah. The thing is taking on a partner.
Yeah, but I mean, still taking on a partner would still go down the same track of you're going to sell it, you're going to take a step back and someone else runs it, you're giving it away. Yeah. It follows the same path.
I don't think many people know how to sell a business. I think many people go into a business not really even thinking about selling a business. Like, just walk me through as if, I'm a 4-year-old.
Okay, well, it depends on where you're at, obviously, where you're starting. The best way to start is to think, how much do I want to exit this business with? If you have time and you are willing to invest money and time into getting it to be an asset that is worth what you want it to be. Unfortunately, a lot of business owners, they value their business more than it's worth because of the amount of work that they've put into it. So a business is actually only worth what a buyer is willing to pay. And so if you only have one buyer and they're only willing to pay half of what you want, that's what the business is worth.
So there's no like magic number in terms of like, this is your profit, you times it by X, and this is the value of your business?
I mean, it depends on the buyer. So again, it comes back to, we as a seller, we like to think that we're in control. In business, the buyer determines the price, really. If your buyer is just say a you or a me, we're going to go to a bank, we're going to take a loan out, and we're going to buy a business, then the person realistically who's valuing the business is the bank. Yep. Because the bank are going to make their own determination of how much that business is worth and then how much they're willing to loan. And so what we can say by that is the maximum multiplier, which is taking your profit and then the number that they multiply it with to get the value, is going to be 2.5, which means your net profit is $100,000, the bank is going to say it's worth $250.
And what about taking things into account like goodwill? Now, with social media and all, you've got followers and a community and all that stuff. is that taken into account or is it just profit?
There's different ways that you can value a business, but honestly, most of the time it's just a multiplier on the profit. And then people will say, like, what about the machinery? Like, let's say if it's a joinery business, right? Well, the joinery business might own, let's say, $1 million worth of equipment, but then it's depreciated, so maybe it's only worth $200,000. Do you add that $200,000 worth of machines onto the value of the net profit being, let's say again, they wanted $1 million for it, so then it would be $2.5 million valuation. Does that 200,000 get added? The answer is no, because without it, the business couldn't make the profit.
So what about, like, say, my business with the fashion business, for example, the inventories? Is that added on, or is that like the machinery?
No, inventory is different usually.
Oh, right.
Yeah. But what might happen with a fashion business is someone comes in, they want to buy the fashion business, and what they would might go, well, I want that inventory, but I don't want that inventory.
Right.
So they may pick and choose what they're prepared to buy, and the valuation of the stock will happen right at the time of the sale. So because they'll only be buying what's there.
You're doing really well in your business. And you're making lots of profit. You don't want to sell it then because you're making a profit.
Yeah.
And then when you're wanting to sell it is maybe when you're over it, burnt out or whatever, or if the business is not going so well, but then that means the profit is not going so well.
Yeah.
So then
you don't want to sell it when it's on the down. You want to sell it when it's on the up.
Right.
And of course, businesses go like this over time,
Yeah.
which is why people look at 3 years.
Yes.
You know? But if your 3 years are going down, as opposed to kind of, you know, a little bit fluctuating, staying at the same level, then that's fine. That's to be expected.
Yeah.
But the most valuable business is going to be the one where the profit is going up over time, not going down.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, what ends up happening is a lot of business owners go to sell because they're feeling burned out, right? And when they're feeling burned out, that's when the business has already started to go down, and they get to the point where they feel like so overwhelmed or tired, they just can't imagine turning the business around.
Yes.
If you have a business that's in a bit of a rough place, but you don't have the energy to revitalize it, it is maybe bringing on a partner that does have that energy.
How do you find that partner?
There's so many people out there that don't have the finances to go and make a big business purchase, but they want to be an entrepreneur so bad that...
Where are those people? Is there a group, a Facebook group, or a marketplace or anything like that?
There is big Facebook groups about buying and selling businesses, but even like-minded bitches drinking wine, which is this massive pool of business owners.
Yeah,
it's like 200,000 business owners or something.
It started by Jane Lou from Shopo, isn't it?
Oh, did she start it?
Yeah.
Right. Anyway, that's the type of place that you could potentially look for a partner. You know, if we're talking about the fashion business,
let's talk about the fashion business.
I would look for fashion groups, and maybe it starts off as a job. After a 6-month period or something, they get equity. If you don't feel comfortable just giving someone half a company or 40%, what you can do is you can set up something called an ESOP, which is an employee share ownership plan, which means that they'll have a share of the business, but it's not their name as a director. Or there's something called shadow equity, which is what IT companies use. So there's options in which you can do it. But I think one of the things that hurts a lot of people, that stops them from taking advantage of this type of thing, is they get hung up on the money. Yeah. Because it comes back to, my business is worth something. And so I don't want to just give it away. Yeah. But in a way, it's like they're
holding on
to a sinking ship, right? Yeah. Like it's a sinking ship.
Yeah,
whereas
sometimes it costs them money to hold on to it too.
Correct. It comes back to kind of looking at the whole thing with a little bit of a
outsider's eye.
Well, a big picture, mindset. Because someone who's very inspired and energetic for the business could turn it around.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So we talked last time about some businesses that are really good to buy into at the moment. You were talking about one of which was like a Pilates business.
We were talking about franchises. So franchises are interesting. They're They can be good, they can be bad. Like with any business, you want to do your due diligence to find out. I have a client who owns a website called choosefranchise.com. And so I kind of said, what do you think the best franchises are? And he said, check out these Pilates studios. And so I got the financials for them. And they look great. I mean, like, this is very cursory, like they look good on
paper,
on the surface. Like, I haven't done full due diligence. So if anyone goes and looks at those,
Yeah.
it's up to you to do your due diligence. But
I mean, the upfront cost is really high on Reformer Pilates because of all the equipment and stuff.
one that I had looked at was called In Life Wellness. Their studios to get started is about 170,000, including the reformers,
Right.
which is pretty reasonable. The thing is about franchises is that they do have upfront costs, franchise fees, those types of things. That In Life Wellness, they have a set franchise fee instead of a lot of franchises will take like 10% of the revenue, not the profit, the revenue. So that can really cut into your profit. But people do like them because it's like kind of a business in a box.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right, like Baker's Delight. You've got
Yeah.
what you need. What other businesses are good to buy these days, do you think?
I think it all comes down to what your skill set is. Like, for example, if you have a strong social media, like Vic, she has, and any business that could utilize your skill set for you to grow that business. Like, you want to be able to leverage what you have.
Of course, yeah.
What are my strengths? And, you know, what businesses might fall into that.
Yeah.
I mean, it depends on how much money you've got.
Yeah. Do you help people buy and sell business or just sell business?
I look at deals that people are doing and give them feedback on it.
Yeah.
But I'm not a buyer's agent. I don't actually know any buyer's agents.
Really?
Yeah. I think
They don't exist?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah. For the most part, like, let's say 95% of the best businesses never make it to the open market
Right.
because they get sold to someone that someone knows. It's a strategic sell. For example, I've got a client right now is a florist, and the best people to buy that business would be either the suppliers, because they can reduce the costs straight away, or
the employees.
competitors
Oh, yes, that's right.
who can also, like, would probably be able to reduce costs because they'll have double staff, maybe admin staff, for example.
Yeah.
So they don't need 2 admin people, they would just have one
Yeah.
for both businesses.
And marketing and
Yeah.
overheads and all that stuff.
And that is a highly profitable business.
Yeah.
So owners have just approached a couple of people in their network and they already have some interest from doing that. So you would never know that business is going to be sold because it hasn't even, it doesn't reach a broker, it hasn't.
Yep,
Yeah.
it just gets privately sold.
Yeah, so the best ways to find businesses is really through your network, by trying to find out who's selling a business, who knows someone who's selling a business, maybe who's retiring.
What do you work on? Like, you know, if you were to help a business prepare for sale, I mean, you look at their numbers and you say, look, you've got to do, what do you do? Like,
We look at everything. So we start off by doing a full exit assessment.
Yeah.
So just looking at all the areas of the business and building a scorecard of what might be problematic to a buyer. Like, really looking at it through a buyer's lens, because a buyer, you don't want to overpay. Like, just like if you went to buy a business, you don't want to overpay. No buyer wants to overpay.
you want to get the best price for your money.
I mean, some people might want to be screwing you, but for the most part, everyone just wants a fair deal, right? Like, we'll give it, the benefit of the doubt. They just want a fair deal. So they're going to come in and look at everything with a fine-tooth comb.
Yep.
If they're experienced, and so you want to do that in advance, so you can fix any problems.
Yeah.
So a big one is looking at sales, marketing, finances. The owner is often still working in the business quite a lot, and that
Is a
well,
problem?
it can be. If the business is just an owner's job, it's a problem.
Yes.
Because you're selling a job, and who wants to buy a job?
Exactly. And also, if the owner doesn't exist and the business is taken over by
Correct.
someone else, then it can operate without that person.
Yes, correct.
So you need to try and manage yourself out.
The whole thing about selling a business is you want to be minimizing the risk that the buyer has to them losing profit, because they're buying your profit, right?
Yes.
So Yeah, so we look at all those areas
Yeah.
and then we make a plan. What needs to be improved?
You did with the bakery recently, I saw. You just said, oh, well, let's just see if you open just on weekends and
Yeah.
reduce employees and reduce,
Yeah.
you know, this and that, and
Yeah.
then maybe the balance might rise up.
So the situation was there was this video going a little bit viral on TikTok
Yeah.
about a bakery in Sydney and how much money it costs to run that bakery. And at the end of the day, the bakery was making $64,000 a week in revenue, but net profit was $1,500. So you're looking at $64,000 a week is like $3.4 million a year.
Yeah.
And it's making like $70,000 of net profit.
Right.
For a $3.4
Yeah,
million.
because
Like,
the cost is just draining
Right.
all the profits out.
yeah, and actually when I kind of calculated, it wasn't even right. Like it was making less money than that. They mentioned in the video that 50% of the profits came from just 2 days. So why not? One of the scenarios we looked at is, well, what if we just opened for 2 days? And we were able to boost the profit.
Yeah,
And it would be a less stressful business to run,
correct.
you know?
Yeah,
But I mean, that's not necessarily the solution. I think a lot of times people get really stuck working in their business. They don't have the opportunity to stand back and look at it from a holistic point of view.
yeah, absolutely.
And create a strategy that will help them.
Yeah.
And, you know, to be honest, sometimes the business owner stops wanting to sell so urgently when we start doing some of this work because we're solving problems that they have
Yeah,
that are causing them stress.
true.
You know?
And then they've got a plan and a system, so they
Yeah.
start wanting to work back in their business
Yeah,
again.
it's true, yeah.
That's great. It's almost like a business coach.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, except that business coaches don't often get really deep into the financials. They kind of are a little bit, not all of them,
Yeah.
but can be a little
Yeah.
bit more like
Marketing
higher
and all that
level,
stuff.
yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Branding,
sorry,
marketing,
yeah.
just different ends.
Yeah,
of
and
the
we look at
business.
those things too. A lot of my clients are in the 50 plus, like thinking about retiring, not all, but a lot of them. And so they often have businesses that are quite established, have really strong word of mouth, and then they don't have to spend that much on marketing, which of course is a problem because if you leave your business and all your
people come
business
for
is
you.
word of mouth,
Exactly.
yeah, so you need to have a marketing funnel, you need to have a sales system, you need to have procedures, all of those stuff. It can sound overwhelming if you don't have any of that, but that's what makes a healthy, strong business.
What is the worst type of business you can get into these days? People always romanticize on, you know, owning a cafe or
Well,
something.
hospitality is rough. The margins are low for most businesses. I think the biggest mistake that you can make is maybe it's not necessarily the type of business, because like back to that bakery cafe example, I had an accountant send me 2 more bakeries, the real financials of,
Yes.
and both of those were making a killing,
Right.
right? Like
Yeah.
they were both making 500K plus in net profit a year. So it's not like it's not possible. I think the key is you have to do your due diligence on what it is that you're getting into. Like you have to understand more than, oh, look at this business, like it's making profit. But it's also like, well, where is the market going? Like, what are the challenges that are happening? Is there new legislation coming in? You have to think about like everything holistically. Realistically, you never know the motivations of the person selling. Recently, I spoke to someone who had an RTO for childcare.
Right.
And they want to sell. And the reason that they want to sell is because all of this new legislation was coming in around taking photos and what was allowed in childcare centres, right? So now you're no longer allowed to have photography in a childcare centre. It means the RTO would have to send people to do assessments in the childcare centre. So all of a sudden the RTO costs are going to go skyrocketing. People who are running those types of RTOs start putting them on the market. Now, if you didn't know that that's what's going on, you might go, oh my God, look at this massively profitable RTO, not realising that your costs are going to skyrocket as soon as you take over, right? So it could be a good business, but then something happening in the industry that makes it not good.
Right.
You have to kind of know what's going on. So, but to answer your question, like what business would I not buy? I probably would never buy hospitality.
No, such hard work as well,
Yeah.
and opening hours and everything like that is just...
Yeah. E-commerce is really hard, in my opinion.
Is that right?
Oh, in my opinion. Like, people who kill it in e-commerce kill it, but for me, I had an e-commerce business, that's why I'm
Did
saying
you?
this, yeah. But for me, I feel like you're just walking a tightrope of so many factors.
What were you selling on your e-commerce business?
My sister and I had a tarot business. She's a tarot reader, my sister, and so I was the business side. She was the mystical side.
Yes.
And
so
so
selling tarot card, physical products?
Yeah, so we would make decks. Like she would create the cards and write the guidebooks, and then we would make the decks. We manufactured them in China. Then we would sell them on Amazon Australia, Amazon Canada, Amazon US, as well as our shop. And it was a roller coaster of very many things, but things change that you can't even control. So, it was a great business.
I had like a gift card business.
Yeah.
And it went really well for a while.
Yeah.
And then COVID hit, and then all the shops closed. Most of my stockers were retirees or entering into retirees, and they just like, I can't be bothered with this COVID stuff. I can't be bothered recovering it. There was my stockers all gone.
Are those things you can't control?
Yeah.
I mean, that's the unpredictability of business, though. It's fun and it's also challenging.
Yes.
Because it's fun and challenging, the challenging part, you want to try to make sure that when you're trying to buy something and run it, you don't have extra challenges that a little bit of due diligence would have stopped.
But service business is not passive, because it requires you to be working in it.
It does. But it depends on like the size of the business that you buy. With a certain size, you might be working on the business more than working in it. People who love what they do don't necessarily mind working in the business. It's about finding what kind of works for you, but ultimately long term, you don't want to be stuck in a job in a business.
So are you a broker?
No, I'm doing my license though.
Right. How long does that take? Because you were saying it's similar to a real estate license?
It is a real estate license.
That's crazy.
I know.
Why haven't they changed that? Has anyone just sort of said, hey, you're not selling property? I mean, I guess probably it used to be linked to bricks and mortar shops.
Yeah,
so
because in the past, you used to buy the building with the business.
Or with the lease, like a lot of business owners.
Well, now they are, but like I think probably back in the day,
you
would own the building as well.
Yeah.
Some buildings still have real estate in them.
Yeah.
But it's interesting, a lot of the businesses that I've looked at that do have real estate involved, it's the super fund that owns the building.
Right.
Which is quite interesting.
Yeah.
The people at that retirement age, they bought the property in their super fund at a certain point. Right. And they've been paying rent back to the super fund. And then they either, when they're selling the business, often they'll say, oh, well, you can either buy the building or keep leasing it from us.
Right. Yeah, and a lot of businesses now are just online businesses, so there's no property at all. So that's a bit weird.
Yeah. Something that you asked before was when is a good time to sell.
Yeah.
One thing that often happens is people go, oh, I'll sell the business when my lease is up.
Yeah.
But the problem is that the bank won't let someone borrow on that.
Oh.
Because they want to know that there's a guaranteed period for their investment, right? Like they're lending you money. If you want a 7-year loan to pay off this business, but you've only got a 1-year lease, how are you going to pay them for the next 6 years if the lease isn't renewed? So it's better to renegotiate the lease for another 10 years so
before
then the
sell.
person
Because you want to package it all up to hand it over so that the person who buys it just hits the ground running.
You want it to be as clean as possible.
Yeah.
And the more that you can remove yourself as the owner from the day to day, the easier it is to make that transition and that handover. Otherwise, you might end up being an employee of the company for an additional 6 months or a year until that handover happens as it's going on. The biggest thing is to ask yourself, is my business my retirement fund? And you might not have consciously made that thought, but often us as business owners, we get into it because we think we're going to make more money. Yeah. Right?
Well, you wouldn't get into business otherwise.
Yeah, you think that you're
don't
going
get
to
into business or a loss.
You're also unemployable. I'm
unemployable. Absolutely.
Yeah. You get into business because A, you're unemployable, and B, you think that you're going to make money.
Yeah.
And in your mind, there's a windfall coming at a certain point from your business, right? Like that's how most entrepreneurs think. And so they're surprised when they get to the end of it that, oh, it's not actually worth that much, which is why you want to think about it in advance. The other big thing mistake that people make is they're not structured properly for a sale. So if you don't have the right structure, you could end up paying half of the business proceeds in tax.
And what do you mean by structure?
That means, let's say I own the company.
Yeah.
It's a proprietary limited. I own it. The same thing would happen if it's just a sole proprietor, and it's just me, Jamie, owning the company, or me, Jamie, being a sole proprietor. In that scenario, you're most likely, I'm not going to say 100% because I'm not an accountant, most likely you have to give half of that to the tax department because it's deemed as a personal, goes under your personal tax bracket, right?
How would you structure it so that you would avoid paying the tax?
That's a great conversation to have with an accountant. You would either structure it under a trust situation, right? So then there's capital gains concessions and that type of thing. And the difference can be, say it's $1 million sale, you get 500,000 because you lose half of it to tax. The difference could be you get 725,000 as opposed to 500, right? So it can be a big amount. And if you wait till the last minute to sell, you can't fix your structure.
Well, a lot of business owners like myself, I'm very creative. I just hate that stuff. I don't want to think about the structure, the finance. That's not what we're good at.
I know, and that's the problem too. Is like you just want to focus on the fun stuff and not the
numbers,
the numbers and stuff.
Yeah.
But if you don't think about it in advance, then it might be a problem later.
Yeah.
And the thing is, it's understanding who your financial team is. Like, you should have a team of advisors, and most people, they have a tax accountant. Now, tax accountants, what they do is they deal with compliance of tax, right? So they're going to look at what happened to your business in the last year, and they're going to look at all of that, and then they're going to do the best that they can with that to make sure that you either pay the tax that you owe, or like maybe they can minimize it, right? If that type of accountant you speak to maybe when you're doing your BAS, and you speak to when you're doing your tax. That type of accountant won't be saying, okay, let's chat about what's happening next year and how we can minimize our tax. If your accountant isn't doing that, you know that you've just got an accountant that's focused on what happened.
A bookkeeper or something.
Yeah, a bookkeeper is another person. Like, so a good bookkeeper will point out issues to you. Honestly, most businesses don't value bookkeeping. They just think it's a monkey can do it, but a good bookkeeper is very valuable. And a bookkeeper, obviously, they enter your data, make sure that everything's compliant, then it goes to the tax accountant. Most small businesses don't have a fractional CFO, which is your chief financial officer.
Well, they can't afford one. Most small businesses are just one person, one man show.
Yeah, it's true. But in lieu of not having that, you need to do it yourself. And my business grew quite quickly. I was lucky one of my friends is a fractional CFO. So I actually brought them in when we were at around 500 a year in revenue, which is very early to bring in a fractional CFO for most people, right? Like, they don't think about it. It's one of the best things that you can do for your business if you are more than just yourself. Yeah. And the reason is because what they'll do is a financial forecast, right? And so over time, each month, you might have a year or 2 year forecast, but each month you're looking at what happened and adjusting your forecast. And the benefit of that is, I used to say, it's like I can sleep at night. Yeah. Because I know, okay, this is our forecast. I'm a very conservative forecaster. We need to hire a staff member. And so I would sit down with my CFO and we'd look at it, and she would say, yep, you can afford to hire the staff member. And so then I can sleep going, okay, I know that we needed a staff member. We had the money to hire one, and this is our conservative projections for the next 12 months. Most people don't do financial forecasting. If you're not a numbers person, you're probably not budgeting and financial forecasting. No. So that's one of the things I do with my clients is we'll do a financial forecast. So how much money do you want to make from your business? Okay, where's the business now? Where do we need it to be? And what needs to happen to get it there? Right. Yeah.
So when do people bring you in?
Ideally, 2 to 3 years before they want to sell. Yeah. But sometimes three months before. Yeah. It just depends. Yeah. It depends on where the business is at. Yeah. Like, I've got a couple of clients that are just amazing businesses. They just wanted some guidance. Yeah. And so that's been 3-month engagements. Yeah. and
Nice.
then other clients that are 2 years away from selling. So we can do a lot more. So,
You're very active on social. What's your handle on TikTok again?
Jaime Almond Official, and it's Jaime, Almond like the nut, official. And I have probably 4 or 5 accounts that are fakes. So you just have to.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Why?
Because
We'll put the links down in the bottom so that you can get the right one.
yeah, usually they'll put an underscore or something, or a number, or they'll misspell official or something, you know,
Yeah.
like, so it looks the same, but it's
Wow.
not. But the reason is because they try to scam people with cryptocurrency
Yes.
deals.
Oh, yes.
So they'll send them a message going, "Hi, are you wanting to invest in something?" And it's almost
course, 'cause
impossible
you're
to
in
get
that
TikTok
area.
to take them down.
How many followers are now to date?
12,500.
Great.
I've been doing, I think, TikTok for like a year and a half.
Wow. That's fantastic.
But I am not the best content creator in the sense that sometimes I'll go 2 weeks without posting. In my defense, my videos take a long time to create because I'm often creating financial statements to showcase something, right?
Yeah.
So the video, the bakery video took me an entire day from like start to finish.
Yeah, because you're researching and doing all the investigation and coming up with a 30-second video.
I mean, I love the days where I can just go, hey, there's this concept, like, brokers suck, business brokers suck, and that takes me 5 minutes to film. Like, that's great.
Yeah.
What people like my content about.
Yeah.
So.
Well, you can mix it up, I guess.
I do,
I
I try to mix it up. Yeah. With your personal brand, you just got to try stuff out.
Yeah.
And the biggest one that I had was about a laundromat franchise. I knew that one was going to go viral beforehand because I knew there is someone named Cody Sanchez. She talks about buying boring businesses, and one of the boring businesses she loves is laundromats, and she's got a huge following. So I knew that it was going to hit. And
isn't it amazing how exit advisor as business can be very interesting on TikTok and go viral? You know.
I don't know that I can give advice to anyone else. I think you kind of have to just find what you find interesting. I think there's a matter of, like, you would know this, like, you have to be comfortable with the camera, which takes a lot of effort. And I think I said this to you the last time we spoke. There's so many times when you're creating a piece of content to be interacting with your own self-loathing, you know, like you write a script and it's like, ugh, this is shit.
Like cringe,
Right. Yeah, cringe. It's exactly right. You actually, you know, you film the script, you're like, ugh. You edit the script, you're like, ugh.
Yeah.
Like anything that makes it onto the internet sometimes is a win.
Yeah. You know, sometimes it's better done than perfect.
Yeah, and I mean, you're certainly dealing with perfection. It's a good exercise in dealing with perfection.
Yeah.
But the opportunities that come from it, like
amazing. Like TikTok, top of funnel. Like it's just amazing. I just can't speak enough about it. And it's really hard to get people over the line. I came into the whole content creation thing thinking I'm going to work with creative people like myself who've got, you know, nice little small businesses and stuff like that. But I ended up with just a lot of financial mortgage brokers, men as well. Yeah. Because
my audience is 75% men too.
Yeah,
so
because
I think they're more interested in that kind of business stuff. Yeah,
and I think it's because financial advisors are used to return on investment, so they see that, you know, I've got to be visible. I've got to pay somebody to do it. I can't do it myself because I don't know how to do it. So therefore, they outsource it. Whereas small creative business that were like, "What's your ideal client?" What's my ideal client? They just oh no, we can do it ourselves. We're creative, we can get in front of the camera, we can do it ourselves. They don't need my help.
Yeah.
Even though I think they do. But
they don't think they need your help,
Exactly.
There's a lot of that in the world, isn't there?
Yeah. I just keep saying to people, if you have a small business and you're not online, then you're not visible. You're going to lose work to people who are more visible than you. And you just got to just bite the bullet. It's not a personality trait, it's a skill set.
Oh, it's 100% a skill set. Like I've actually archived the first videos that I've made because they were so bad.
Yeah.
But, you know, but they got me started. I gave myself a 100-day challenge because at the time I had sold out, like I'd been bought out of my last business with my sister, and I knew that at the time I was like, I don't have the energy to start another business, so I'm just going to look to buy one. And I started making content. I gave myself the challenge, I'm going to post a piece of content every day about buying a business. And I think I posted maybe 25 days before I hit the groove of like what people responded to. Like all of a sudden, I think because I started looking at a financial statement of a business, like anonymously, but like highlighting something that I saw.
Yeah.
And that's when people were like, oh my God, like no one does this, right? And so it just became clear to me, oh, that's what people want to see.
Yeah.
And so then I could continue
and you would have never seen that if you didn't do it.
No, you got to try.
Yeah, and it's different. Like it might work for you, but someone else might
Yeah.
create that content and it wouldn't work for them.
Yeah.
So everyone's so
You
different.
have to just experiment with things.
I started off knowing that I needed a personal brand.
Yeah.
Because my fashion business was mine and my daughter's.
Yeah.
And she was the face of the business, and I
Yeah.
was just behind the camera. No one saw me. No one knew me at all. And when we kind of put a pause on the business because she's wants to do other stuff like go traveling, and
That's
she's young.
exactly what happened with me and my sister. Yeah.
I realized that if I wanted to start another business, I need to have a personal profile, and it took me ages because I was used to having my daughter, who's young and beautiful, in front of the camera.
Yeah.
And who would want to see me in front of the camera? But I just
That's what we all
just
think.
had to do it.
Who wants to see me?
Exactly.
Yeah. But I experienced the same thing. So with the Tarot Academy / e-com business, my sister being the subject matter expert, the whole business was around her personal brand, right? And so when I walked away from that, I didn't have
you didn't have a digital footprint.
No, not from before. It's since my last business, which I kind of burned to the ground because I was so sick of it.
Yeah.
The best thing that you can do in this day and age is have a personal brand.
Yeah, because it doesn't matter what you change, like what business you get into, you're still you've got your personal brand, and that's your niche. I just started doing house inspection videos when I first started my personal brand because I didn't know what to do. I just thought I've got to do something. Yeah. And I was house hunting every weekend, so I just thought, just get my camera out and do that.
Yeah. That's actually a really good tip, and that's what I did with the buying the business thing as well. This was because previously to this, my business was a content marketing business before video was really like massive. Yeah. And what I would say to my clients is you document what you're already doing. Don't try to make yourself more work, right? Just take what you're already doing. So you did that with
I did that. Well, I started before that. I thought I'll start doing food reviews. Everyone does food reviews, but I thought, I'll just start doing food reviews, and it worked for so many people. Yeah, didn't for me because I like to eat with my friends. I don't want to be on camera.
Yeah, right.
And also, I want to be in the moment. Yeah. I want to enjoy the food and the outing. I don't want to whip out my camera all the time and try and get that, filmed. And I would forget as well a lot because I'm out.
Well, because we're older too. Yeah. Right? When
live in the moment.
We didn't grow up documenting our food.
Yeah, exactly. The house inspection was easy because I wasn't in front of the camera. I'm inspecting a house and I thought I'm going to take photos of the house for my husband to see anyway. So my phone was out and it was easy, and I just did voiceovers. Yeah. And sometimes I love house inspection, so I go and see houses around the area that is open anyway. Yeah. And every time I do a house inspection, I get thousands of views on it. Yeah. Renovation videos.
Yeah, those are good. Renovation
and
videos.
that had a really good streak, and then that finished, and so now I'm doing more business videos, but that's not going very well. The business videos are not getting the thousands and millions of views. It's just a grind. So I'm just not sure
business
if
stuff is a grind.
Yeah.
I mean, I have the same problem. Whenever I talk about exit stuff, whenever I talk about selling businesses, I don't get a lot of views. Yeah. But that's my target audience. So you gotta do a little bit of both.
Yeah, and you just got to find the angle that works. And I'm not quite sure if I've found that angle yet.
Yeah. What would you say, like, some of the amazing opportunities have come from you that you never would have expected, that have come from having content. A personal brand?
Oh, from a personal brand. Well, no, actually, like with the fashion business, and that wasn't, this is just having my daughter as a personal brand. Just the reach for the fashion business. Like, we had this dress that was such a coincidence that looked like the Taylor Swift album of Reputation.
Oh.
And it wasn't even the best album as well. Like, it wasn't everybody's favorite album, but it just looked like the print.
Yeah.
And then when she did her world tour,
Yeah.
like that TikTok just went viral, and we were selling hundreds of those dresses a day.
Wow.
Yeah, like we were making $100,000 a week.
What I will say about e-com is there's nothing more fun than a successful e-com launch.
Yeah.
Because you're just sitting there and it's going cha-ching, cha-ching,
Yeah.
cha-ching.
Yeah, I know,
It's
like,
so good.
Just silence it up.
So when I said I didn't like e-com businesses, I love that part of it.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like cha-ching, 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 cha-ching.
So good.
Yeah.
But then it, after that went quiet, and also because my daughter was leaving, so it went really quiet because the personal brand then is gone. Like, we didn't realize how much her personal face, her personal brand affected the business, because people buy from people, they don't buy from labels.
It's true.
And that's a real learning curve.
Yeah.
That's why I built my own personal brand. And with my personal brand for the content, I've only started this studio the last time I saw you, which wasn't that long ago. 3 weeks ago, 2 weeks ago. So when you walked in last time, I've just changed this whole thing around.
Yeah.
And I've been getting clients already, like, just because I'm online, just because I'm visible. There's no room for being shy in business.
And she's persistent too, because there's been times where I've been busy and haven't got back to her, and she messaged me again, which I really appreciate.
Yeah.
Other than sales though, what maybe is something that has happened that you've gone, wow, like I wouldn't have had that happen if I didn't have a personal brand?
Well, this week, for example, it's been a very eclectic week, and I love that part of my job because I get to meet so many different people.
Yeah.
So they connect with my personal brand.
Yeah.
So I had the straight down the line mortgage broker that I did videos for, and that was so lovely because I was able to peel off his layers and just get the real him in front of the camera. And then I met a boudoir photographer.
Yeah.
Yep, she came in. That's what that whole setup is
Oh,
for.
that's
So that's pretty.
this draping red.
Red thing. Then I met an art therapist. So that's what that's set up for. There's a table over there that's got chairs. So she's going to run an art class here.
Oh, cool.
A sound bath person. So there we're going to move the furniture around here and run a sound bath.
That's cool.
Balance out, the corporate with the sort of the wellness, mindfulness.
Yeah.
And next week I'm going to Rockhampton to film something on a cattle range.
Oh, is that one of your...
One of my jobs as well.
Yeah,
So
that's cool.
just doing a personal profile for agricultural business. So in 1 week, I've met all of these variety of businesses because I'm online and I'm doing content and I'm developing personal brands. It's exciting because I love all of these different businesses. I'm not just stuck to one.
Yeah.
And I think, people
That's
do.
a true entrepreneur. You like to have your fingers in many pots.
Yeah. Well, there's so many opportunities out there, but with the content creation, that has opened my world up and my opportunities up, because it's just the right time and the right place for someone like me and you who know how to create content. It's like I go to business meetings and everyone wants to talk to me. Everyone wants to get my business card. Everyone wants to connect with me on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
Because I'm building personal brands and because I'm a videographer. Because the world is moving, video is king. If you sleep on videos, then you're going to fall behind.
Yeah, for
and
sure.
so
You're almost even with video right now, they talk about how there's a bell curve of early adopters, and then it kind of goes up, and then at the very end you've got the people who are late adopters. And I would say video, if you're only getting into video up here, you're behind.
You're already behind.
You're already behind.
Yeah,
and that
but it's better late than never.
Late than never,
Yeah.
but it's the point being is you got to get on it.
Yeah. Well, I got on TikTok in 2018.
Yeah.
And I grew this other account from 0 to 10,000 within a month.
Yeah.
But that was way back then.
Yeah.
So I say to people,
it's a little harder now, yeah.
So the best time to get on TikTok was 2018, and the second best time is now.
Yeah, correct. I mean, I got on it in 2024. Must have been last year. Yeah.
Yeah,
and
everybody has a space.
You do. If you get followers, most of them will come from like 4 or 5 videos. So you have to post a lot of videos that do not a lot before you even get your first one that will get you a bunch of followers. You know, like I've got some videos get me 10 followers and like they might have had 2,000 views, but they, you know, you only get 10 followers from them. That's fine. You can't be attached to how many views something gets. You can't be attached to how many followers. Yes, you can use it as metrics, but also you just got to kind of make with the content.
Old-fashioned sales technique is, you know, you have 7 touch points.
Yes.
So
Still true.
yeah, so people just need to see you over and over and over again.
Yeah.
And the good thing about with personal brand is that they think they know you before they meet you.
They turn up pre-sold.
Yeah.
They do.
Yeah, they want to work with you already.
They want to work with you already.
Yeah. What's your best thing about personal branding?
Okay, so a couple of things. So I got a client who referred me to another client, and that client is giving me half of a company.
Wow.
Not their main company, but half of a company that they have.
Wow, just to build it up again.
To help them build it, yeah.
Fantastic.
Which is great because it's a really great opportunity, and it's all video based, so it'll actually be good for me to help create content, which is why I said yes to that. There is a news publication called Smart Company, and they're the owner of the media group watches my TikToks, and they approached me, so now I'm a contributor for Smart Company, which is good for the personal brand as well.
Yep. I get a lot of free stuff.
I don't get anything free, but I mean, it's a bit harder, like when you're in, because you have a bit more of a eclectic stuff that you do.
And I also do.
Send me free stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
I want free stuff.
Yeah, because I do UGC.
Yeah.
So I get invited to the Peninsula Springs. I get like some supplements for free. I get some products for free just to do reviews on, and plus they pay me to do that too.
Yeah.
So that's a good bonus. But that session coming, that networking session coming, that is just an introduction because it's so cheap.
Yeah.
But it's more like for people to come in and take photos or film with other people, because let's say if you're a business consultant, on your socials you want to have a photo of you talking to somebody, like pretending like you're consulting with somebody, and that's just a pretty photo of you with me, like maybe you see in the back of my head and in front of your face, and you put that on Instagram because that's like you're in action.
Need so much of that stuff.
It's a visual platform.
Yeah. I don't have anything like that.
Yeah. So that day, I've got a photographer. I'll be like, oh, look, you stand here. Let's take some candid photos, and you know, you're both going to be agreeing that you can use the photos, and you can use that on your socials, your website, your whatever, because you have to use different photos for different offers as well.
For sure.
So that's a great day. So hopefully that will work, and they'll do more of that, more content days.
So what you're saying is an important point in where social media is going right now, which is AI content is flooding, and people will enjoy the content, and it's going to get harder and harder and harder to tell what's real and what isn't. Yeah. So you have to be creating experiences for people. And
you get work when you meet people in person. It's so much easier to get work when you talk to them and they like you and they trust you.
People pay for experiences.
Yeah, the sound baths and the color therapy and all that stuff. People are just starting to value that in real life experience.
I spent 3 months in India doing a workers meditation program. This is at a time where I hated what I did. It was before I had my own business, and there was this program that I did was 4 days, and you had a massive 6-foot canvas, and it was called Disappear into the Painting. And you just painted for 4 days. Meditatively for 4 days.
With music and aromatherapy and all that stuff.
It was a phenomenal experience.
Yeah, burnout is a real
burnout is a massive thing.
Yeah.
And it's really hard to come back from. I mean, entrepreneurs burn out the most. And I actually did a lot of research on this very recently because I was going to write an article about it, and then I forgot, and you just reminded me. But basically, like, the effects of burnout, it actually has a real financial impact. Burnout, and
Do you mean like because you can't work?
well, yeah, but I mean, if you think like if you have a burned out staff member,
Yeah.
like that staff member is, I think it was around like 50% productive, right? And then you think about you as a business owner, you have, it's not just the staff member is an expense costing you money. As a business owner, it costs you what you could be making as well.
Of course. Well, I experienced that with my daughter and the fashion business. Like, we both burnt out in terms of even just working with each other.
Yeah.
It got horrible. And because we were mother and daughter, it reflected on our relationship as well. So
Yeah.
that's huge.
Same thing, I worked with my sister.
Yeah, the
And-
relationships.
Yeah,
family.
and it makes it tricky because we get to a point where we had different priorities in the business, and I was, you know, my sister is very creative, and that's what makes her great at what she does, but her desire was not what was I thought was best for the business, which is ultimately why I had her buy me out, and because it was around her personal brand.
Yeah.
I had no control, right? Like of that, even though I was 50% owner in the business.
You're not visible.
Yeah, I have no control. Now, in hindsight, because I've had so much time and everything to think about it, I might have, you know, been able to do something a little bit different.
Yeah.
But
2020 vision for
and
retro.
it, you know,
respect.
and it affected our relationship for maybe a year afterwards. Like it wasn't quite the same. Now we're fine, but it can be really hard. So it can be tough with family, but it's just business partnerships are tough all around.
Yeah.
And if you're thinking about getting into a business partnership, you need to have a partnership agreement. And part of that partnership agreement should be, how do we exit?
Right.
What happens if one
Yes.
person wants to sell and the
Yes.
other person doesn't?
Yeah.
What happens if someone dies? What happens if we can't agree
Yeah.
on anything?
Yeah.
How do we mediate?
Yeah.
Like, all of those things, because it's just like being in a romantic relationship. A lot of people go into romantic relationships going, you know, I love this person, we're never going to break up.
Never going to fight.
And you never know what's going to happen, and the divorces get so messy.
When financial comes involved, everything
Correct.
gets ugly. Any advice that you would give to say a person, one, starting their business,
Yeah.
a person exiting
Personal
their business?
brand and preparation. Those two things, yeah. Focus on building a personal brand, unless you're going to retire and you don't want to do that. But even so, if you're going to retire, you can have a personal brand and what you're doing in your retirement.
Yeah, no one can take your personal brand from you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No. You might use it for something else.
Yeah.